Okay, all is set. Good evening, everyone. And comrade and Patoki, you will not be no sound. There is sound. You've not connected your audio. That's that. So I'm sending in a chat now for everybody. Okay, less than a minute. We are going to start in less than a minute. We are going to start, and I'm going to drop the agenda on our chat room for us to see our today's agenda for the meeting. With me here, I have my co-moderators, Comrade Afsat and Comrade Fumi. We are both moderating today's program together. We are both moderating that together, and we are starting with okay. Sorry for that. I just dropped the okay. So good evening, everyone. I know you can hear me, but I may not be able to hear you, but you can hear me clearly. If you can hear me, just wave your hand. You can hear me from the start side. Okay, great, 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 great. Happy to hear that. So we are starting with the national anthem. We are going to recite that together, and why we commence the program. Why we commence the program. So I'm going to unmute everybody while we sing the national anthem together. I'll unmute everybody. So you can unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself while we sing the national anthem together. 1, 2, 3, go. With love and strength the labor of our never been in vain. To
serve with heart and mind, one nation bound freedom is
and you.
Don't face my mouth.
Okay. Okay, that is good. And you're all welcome in today's program. I'll hand over to my co-moderator, Comrade Afsat Ibrahim, to continue from there. Comrade Afsat, you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Sorry. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome to another section with us at Oshodi Matured Day. And okay, I'll briefly take is Comrade Queen in the house? She's
Yes,
the
yes. It's in
okay,
the house.
please welcome our participants.
Good afternoon, everyone.
That's
I welcome you all to Oshodi Matured League Roundtable discussion. Tagged, this month's own is tagged, creating a safer community for all. That is the topic we'll be looking at today. So for our friends and observer in our midst, I assure you that it's not going to be a waste of time. We're happy you are here. Thank you once again. As I hand over to the Secretary, Comrade Afsat.
okay. Thank you very much, Comrade Queen. Thanks so much for that welcome address. Okay, so as not to waste most of your time, we'll be having a recap of last edition by Comrade Galadima. The topic was synergy, an essential code for a developmental growth in Oshodi. So for the benefit of those that were not available, please, Comrade Galadima, I'll be handing over to you for a recap of last discussion. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Okay.
And the last edition we discussed about synergy within our principal office holders in Oshodi Solo, from councillorship and House of Assembly and the Federal House of Assembly through the chairman, that we discussed that there's need for everybody to work together as a team. And our contributors, most especially Comrade Konibagbe, also cite the need for the CDA and CDS to work with the chairman in maintaining and maintenance culture to the ongoing project within our community. And also the chief press of our mayor, in person of Comrade Benga Soloki, was also in presence, and we all agreed together that there's need for us to work together as a team. And contributions from all participants as well were noted, and all our feedback was the new mayor also go through them, and I believe is acting on those suggestions that were made by the participants. So that is what we discussed last week. And also we make the chief press to the chairman also promise the community that we're going to have as many a day with the new mayor. That is, there will be a physical roundtable discussion with the new mayor, which we are actually looking up to have such glorious day. And we believe what we discussed in the last edition, actions are being taken on them. That is what I can give. And if you need more recap of what been discussed in the last edition, you can check our YouTube channel, Oshodi Matured League, and have a full recap on that platform. Thank you, and Comrade Afsat.
Thank you very much, Comrade Galadima.
Okay, and Mr. Raymond, you asked which of the chairman am I talking about? I'm talking of Honorable Al-Maruf Kehinde is the new mayor. If I'm talking about new mayor, we only have one mayor in Oshodi Solo. We only have one mayor in Oshodi Solo. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We're moving to the next agenda. That's we're going to introduce. We have two guest speakers in the house. So the first guest speaker will be speaking to us, and I believe we all know today's the topic of discussion: creating a safer community for all. I believe our first speaker is in the house. Comrade Galadima.
Yes.
Is he here with us?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I'll do a brief intro for our first guest speaker. Our first guest speaker goes by the name Comrade Ibikule Fale Yemu. I hope I'm correct. He's a graduate of computer science economics. He's an accomplished database administrator with a passion for innovative technologies. He has spent most of his adult life fighting injustice, and engaging in community development. He is an active member of the Take It Back movement and AAC political party. He is a humanitarian and advocate for effective leadership in the name of democracy. It's a pleasure to have you in our midst, Comrade Ibikunle Faleyemu. I'll be handing over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be part of this movement. First of all, let me salute the courage of individuals that are behind this movement. This is the way to go. And I say more power to your elbow. Thank you.
Okay. Our topic for discussion today is creating a safe community for all. Probably just give us a 10-minute talk concerning the topic, because that's our topic of discussion for today.
Okay, thank you very much. Creating a safety environment for all. Safety is, as it's been said, is everybody's business. We cannot afford to leave our safety as a people, as a community, in the hands of government, even where government functions as they ought to. You still have community, individuals taking charge of their well-being, let alone a Nigerian environment where we have people that have no business being in government, running the affairs of
Hello. I think our speaker network is not so that strong.
Yes.
Hello, After, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you.
Oh God.
Okay, I think the network is.
Yes, I think it's network art. So that is the situation we find ourselves in this country.
Or probably before he comes back online, probably the second speaker should begin his own talk.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and Comrade Kunigbagbe. Okay, over to you, Comrade Afsan.
Okay, apologies for that. I think the network of our first speaker is very poor. So we're moving on to the second speaker. So probably he will stand in place of the first speaker. Then when the first speaker comes, he'll continue from where he stopped. So our second speaker in the house is Mr. Tunde Konigbagbe. He's a technocrat and a political analyst who was a former deputy director, National Assembly Commission. He holds a BSc degree in business administration. He holds a master's degree in marketing. He also holds a master's degree in public administration. He has a PhD in education, master in education administration and planning, and currently he's pursuing his PhD program. Yeah, welcome, Mr. Tunde Konigbagbe. Hello.
Kindly activate your audio, sir. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes, we can hear you, sir.
Well, good evening, everybody. And I thank the that are behind this lofty idea. The Almighty God will continue to strengthen you. Not wasting so much time, the topic before us is creating a safer community for all. We all know this situation of things that we find ourselves now.
as a country, but we have to talk about how do we have a very safe community. That is the place where we live, where we do our daily activities. So let's of us start. What do we refer to as a community? Now, we refer to a community where we have people that live together and have the same characters. A place where we have people that are living together in that environment, that they do all their daily activities and they have the same character. And for any environment, or for anybody that living in that environment, to have a very conducive atmosphere, everything must be going on smoothly. The safety aspect has to be there. People can, in a place where you can go to your work and you be rest assured that the property that you have in your homes is safe, that you can be so sure that your families are safe, your children that go to school, they be back home safely. That at any point in time, you'll be free to move within the environment. Either you are going to your work or you are coming back from your work. Now, let's take our community into consideration in Oshodi, because we are so much concerned with what is happening in our communities, that is in Oshodi. We all know that we have 3 major communities in Oshodi. When we can talk about the Oshodi itself, we can talk about Mafoluku, and we can talk about Shogunle Assis with Ladepo inclusive. So how do we have a very safe environment? There are many things that we can do. One, we can engage ourselves in the community. How do we engage ourselves in the community? There are many of us that are living in a community, we don't even know our neighbor. We are so busy with our work. We go out very early in the morning, you come back in the evening. On Sunday, you only drive out of the compound, you go to church, and you come back. You don't even have any say. You don't even know what is happening in your community. To have a very safe community, every one of us, we must get to know our neighbors. We must participate in the community building. How do you participate in the community building? In an area where you live, you may have a building, an abandoned building, that all these miscreants can be hiding. It is part of to make the community safe, to make sure that such a building is not being a hideout to other any criminal activities. And you can only do this by knowing your neighbors. You can create a WhatsApp group for your neighbors, whereby you can pass information to yourself. You may not necessarily hold a physical meeting, but you can be passing an information to yourself by the time you know your neighbor. Then again, there are many of us that we don't even allow our children to know all the various areas where we live. We only pick them in our car, drop them at school, we bring them back home. We should let our children be able to know all the corners. Once in a while, take a walk with your children within the community, so that in case anything might happen, they might know how they can go about it to have to get home. Then at the same time again, you can have what you refer to as a neighborhood watch within your community. How do you have this? We can have a group of men that have the same ideal, that can form a group. This group can be the one that will be a watchdog to everybody in your community. We should be able to know who is moving to our neighborhood. We should be able to know the new tenants that are moving down to our community. Not only that, we should have an interaction with people in our community. For example, the malam that is selling in your streets. Once in a while, you go there and patronize that malam. buying things from the Malam. We should as well patronize the local business we are doing in our environment. By the time we do all these things, a very safe environment will start by whereby everybody is engaged in one thing or the other that we are doing. Then again, we can speak to the people that are representing us at the council, that is either at the district or at the community level that are representing us at the council. That is whereby our councillors, once in a while, engage the councillors on the activities of what the WASH Board actually need for them to work. Then the councillors in return will now take what we need to the mayor or the council chairman. Then again, for us to have a safer community is every one of us. We must be able to invest in security. How do you invest in security? If you can afford it, you can have a camera installed in your house, whereby whenever you are not at home, it can record any activities that is coming in. We can have a light on of TV and lights. What am I trying to say in that place? That we can have a device whereby our television that we put on, there'll be a particular time that the television will off itself, and the light in case we slept off. Then again, for us to have a safer community for ourselves, we must make sure that we guide our house properly. You just don't leave everything you have in your house open to everybody. Make sure you have a curtain, because there are some criminals that are going about within the community. They don't have anything they're doing. But the mere fact that they just pass and they see that your house is wide open, they can easily put in and see what you have there, and they can plan to come and attack you. How do you have a safer community? Again, there are many of us that the way we use a social media, we are not using it to our own advantage. You don't disclose many new things that you have. There are some of us that whenever we buy a new car, you display it on the social media. You buy a new television, you display it. These are some of those things that doesn't all go well for the savers of our community. Then at times again, you must make sure that you don't put your name in front of your house. Maybe you have a mailbox. These are some of those things that can enable us to have a safer environment. A safer environment is not only for crime. A safer environment is whereby you have a qualitative education, a very good health service, and a very good transportation system within the environment. So to make a community safe for all is responsibility of everybody that is living in that community. In our community in Oshodi, in particular, we have a police stations in each of the community. Like we have Akinpelu in Oshodi, we have Makinde in Mafoluku, then we have Shogunle police stations, which covers both Shogunle and Ladipo. We should be able to have the number of the DPO. We should be able to engage the DPO once in a while. You go there, you find out what the measures which they are using to secure the peoples in that environment. If you form a neighborhood watch cannot do the work of a security agent, that is the police. They can only collaborate with the police for us to have a very safe environment. Then again, we should be able to hold a regular meeting with the people in our environment. Once in a while, if you have an idea, go to your tenant landlord, maybe it's tenant association. From there, you can then appoint some people that can be a watchdog within their community. You see some people that are just moving, you should be able to know what they are doing, what their source of income is. How do they get their money? Which time do they go out? Which time do they come in? These are some of those things that we should be able to do. And we should be able to watch people for any suspicious activities. You don't say that it doesn't concern me, that is the functions of the government or the local government. No, is the functions of every one of us. You must be able to know what you the people that are around your area. Then you must be able to share several informations, either with your CDA chairman. You can meet that CDA chairman in person. Somebody has just moved into the environment, or somebody has been having maybe the way he has been working in the community is not something that is palatable. Maybe he has been bringing some friends that that is not people that you think that the environment is not safe with your family or your children. You can meet up with the CDA chairman, and in return, this can be reported to the CDC, and I'm so sure the CDC in return can report such a things to the council. Then, as an individual as well, or as a group, you can engage the aides of the chairman. I think the chairman has an SSA on maybe on the community development. Such a person, you should be able to have access to such a person that you can liaise with the person on what you can do to make your environment safe. Not only that, you can in your environment as well. To make your environment safe is not only for crime. What about the cleanness of your environment? If the environment is not clean up, the hygiene of the environment can be there. You can form a group whereby you can have a cleanup group. Once in a while, maybe there's a tree in the streets that all the leaves are already on ground, or you can cut it. A tree that can harbor the criminals, you can cut it with members of the with your group. And then again, we can coordinate activities of other peoples within our community for us to have a safer community. To have a safer community, you must think about the elderly people as well, the disability people. What are those things that the government can do for the elderly people within your community? It's part of how to make the community safe for all as well. Then the disability people within your community, what do you think the government can do for them? These are some of those things that you can bring to the attentions of the mayor or the council chairman either through the SSA on community development or through the councillors in your area. Then again, you must make sure you lock your door always. Lock your door. Whenever you are going out, make sure you lock your door so that nobody can come into your door. Then again, whenever you want to be out of your station, maybe out of your house for about 2 or 3 days, you should notify your neighbor. You should let your neighbor know that you will not be around for so number of days, so that your neighbors can keep an eye on your property. Then again, how to have a safer environment is whereby whenever you are going out, again, some of us that probably you are in the habit of maybe take a walk or you jog once in a while, you don't follow a particular route. Make sure you have a different route that you take. The same thing is applied to us. Whenever those of us that we drive cars, that we are going out, make sure people should not be able to time you that, oh, Mr. A will leave home 7 a.m. in the morning and he always come back 10 p.m. No. And don't follow a particular route. Change your route most of the time. And you should be very mindful of the people within your environment as you are driving. A safer community is for every one of us to make sure your family safe. It's not the responsibility of the government alone, but it can be a responsibility of everybody that is living in that community that have the same characters. You should tell your children their boundaries. There are some of these our children, because of this, the kidnappers here and there. You should tell them where they're supposed to play. Some of them, they will play football, and the football will go to the other person's compound. If you don't know who is living in that compound, your children might just go there that they want to go and pick that ball, and anything can happen to them. You should tell your children their limit, the boundary, that whenever they want to play, they should make sure they play within a particular environment for them to be safe. Then again, you must be able to tell your children, you must be able to tell them, let them have your phone number. Most of the children we have these days, they are very sharp on brain. Let them have your phone number. Let them be able to recite either the dad's or mom's phone number in case of anything should happen, so that they should be able to ask anybody to give you a call. These are some of those things that we can do for us to have a safer environment within our place. Especially, we can make use of this social media to have a very good safer environment. Form groups with people. Pass security information. Know the number of the DPOs within your community. Know the number of the CDA chairman, and know the number of CDC chairman in your local government. Be able to participate in the activities. Whenever there's any uncompleted building within your community, it is the responsibility of people that are living in that community that must make sure that they get rid of that place of hidden criminals. Then again, where we always dump refuse is part of the safety in the community. Because if you see a particular place, maybe there is any uncompleted building and the place is not habitable to people, you see people start dumping refuse there. If you don't clear that place within the community, before you know it, another 1 or 2 days, the whole place will be stockpiled with a lot of refuse. So if you are living in that community, it's just the responsibility of people that are living in that community to make sure they can form a group. They clear the place. If you have a tree that can be a hidden place for the for anybody to harm the people in that environment, you can engage yourself maybe once Saturday, cut the leaf, or you can get in touch with the council. I think they have a department that can come around to come and help you to cut such a tree. And at the end of the day, every one of us will have a very safe environment. So in conclusion, every one of us must be conscious of our environment. Whenever you are moving on the road, you must be conscious of people around you. If you are driving, you must be conscious. In our community, you must know your neighbor. You must be able to offer advice or security tips and share information among the people in your community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a lovely one from you. And I believe we've had 1 or 2 things to learn from. It's okay. So our first speaker is back. But before he speaks, we'll give an opportunity for contributions from the participants concerning what our speaker has just talked about. So anyone who has contributions or questions should please kindly raise up your hand. Okay, I can see 886. Okay. Okay, please kindly unmute yourself.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening.
Yes,
good evening, all.
Good evening.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
To the speaker, I say kudos. My name is Sadako Oluwatubiloba, and I'm holding brief for the CPS of the Executive Chairman of Oshodi Soro local government, who unfortunately is unable to attend this meeting. But due to the importance of this meeting, he said that I should just hold brief for him. I really want to appreciate this setup, and particularly about the safety of our environment. And judging from what the speaker has said, I noted one or two things that I just want to chip in. That is the intervention of the government vis-a-vis having a safer environment. Can I continue, please?
Yes, please.
All right.
Please.
All right.
Yes.
Now,
Yes,
from what the speaker said, the giveaway for me as a person, the giveaway for me is the fact that I actually noticed, sadly, I noticed that the spirit of brotherhood, the spirit of communityhood that used to exist amongst us is no longer there. And this may be one of the reasons why we are now having this prevalent security challenge. The Yorubas will say, in your Colombia, Igbauju, Lonto. While growing up, we used to have this community consciousness. Unlike now that it is just me, myself, and I. So we have to resuscitate that spirit that we used to have, the spirit of brotherhood, the spirit whereby you know your neighbor, you relate with your neighbor, and you know that actually foster the security. Now, the speaker also said that in having a secure environment, that the government should engage with people living with disabilities, people that are old, and empower them, know what they are doing, and the rest of them. Like we know that this administration is less than 100 days in office, about 2.5 months, if I'm not mistaken. And due to the importance that the executive chairman has for widows, for elderlies, and for the indigents, even without reaching 100 days in office, they have started, engaging the people, and they have started, empowering them in the little way that they can. For the people that are residents in Oshodi, they will be able to attest to the fact that the chairman has empowered widows and then elderly with cash gifts and then with foodstuff. And also on keeping our environment clean. Yes, there is a department within the council that is environmental department. We call them Wuli Wuli. This is the department that is in charge of enforcement of sanitation within our community. But there are certain things that our people ought to do. That we have this carefree attitude, this lackadaisical attitude that the government should come and do it. Like I experienced one, just there's a drainage in front of the house, and the drainage is blocked, and the drainage is almost filling up. And the environmental sanitation people went there and they informed them that ensure that you evacuate this drainage. And they were like, is it not the government that is supposed to evacuate it? Our people sometimes we just have to, keep on educating them. But on the part of the government, I'm talking about the local government now, the administration is working assiduously on the engagement of political appointees. There are certain appointments that are still in the pipeline for now. And as soon as all the appointments are over, the information, the details of all the appointees will be shared, will be communicated to everybody so that we can keep tab, so that we can also give them appropriate information and also send your feedback. However, but before then, we can attest to the fact that the chairman runs an open door policy.
Okay, Mr. Salako.
I'm with you, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Now, comment AY, please hold on, please. Mr. Salako, there's a question in the chat room.
Okay.
What you just said now, somebody's asking a question about that. What is the primary responsibility of a government if the safety of the citizen cannot be guaranteed before involving other stakeholders? Because you just mentioned stakeholders within the community, and somebody's asking the question. Now we are seeing you as the mouthpiece for the new mayor in town, that is Honorable Al-Maruf Kehinde Oloyede. So what is the primary responsibility of this government of the safety of its citizen if it cannot be guaranteed before involving the stakeholder within the community? Is this government actually taking a bold step before involving the stakeholder within the community?
All right, thank you so much. And kudos to the person that asked the question. The truth of the matter is the basic responsibility, the primary responsibility of any government is the protection of one, life, two, properties of the citizen. So we can sum up the major responsibility of a government as the protection of life and property of the citizen. Now, in our own environment, which is Oshodi, I'm going to narrow it down to our immediate environment, which is Oshodi, and what the government is doing vis-a-vis the security of life and property before involving the other stakeholders, like the person said. We have to thank God for one thing, that our environment, I mean Oshodi, we have to set it in the proper perspective. How Oshodi used to be in terms of security-wise and how Oshodi is presently. You will agree with me that there is a significant positive change. Oshodi used to be known with violence, with fighting here and there. More so during any nationality period. In fact, what happened in the last election before this one, we can all attest to it. But we can see that this last election is a kind of a model of what we should expect. That is peace. The chairman, even before his emergence as the chairman of the local government, have been working tooth and nail to ensure that there is peace, there is peace, there is peace. He has been moving with stakeholders, political leaders, and then what have you, to ensure that there is peace within the local government. And we can now see the fruits now. Though we may not be where we want to be, but we are not where we used to be. Do we agree with me that we are not where we used to be in terms of security? However, there have been legitimate concern of our people about the major influx of our brothers from the north. People are concerned about the influx of our brothers from the north. And we must acknowledge the fact that, number one, as at today, the Nigeria that we have today, there is still freedom of movement for anybody and everybody. So either you reside in the north, in the east, in the west, you can still move to anywhere. So we cannot restrict the movement of our brothers into our community. And then the truth of the matter is, some of them are coming with the legitimate mind of engaging in business and then what have you. And so far so good. We have not experienced any form of violence from their side. But I can put it to you, and I can assure this house that even before now, the chairman and his team, they are already putting measures in place. They are already thinking, because the chairman is a proactive man and not a reactive man. He doesn't wait until something happens before he will react. No, he's the proactive. He plans ahead. So he is already planning ahead. He's already putting measures in place.
Mr. Salako, can you comment AY? Can you unmute yourself? And I think you have something to say about this particular thing. And we are still coming on that, Mr. Salako. Our AY, please. Your video is not on, sir.
Sorry about that. I don't know if you can
Okay.
see me now.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. Yes, I have some few contributions. I won't take time. Just drop it as quick as possible. I will say this, that not just Oshodi, please, but Oshodi also, that we are not ready for safety yet in our community. And I'm going to give my reason why. The first reason why we are not ready is that we all can see the things that are bringing insecurity in our communities, but we are not ready to talk about it. Everybody is just doing what we call Boju. That's one. Two, the people that are primarily in care of security of the people, which is the police, are also themselves causing insecurity for the people. And the final one is the people themselves who are not ready to take charge of the security of themselves. Because yes, the primary work of a government, both local, state, and federal, is to secure the life of the people. But if you yourself as a people are not ready for that security, we will all suffer for it. I can take a roll call here. If you have never been robbed in Oshodi before, you might, I don't know how you are doing it. It must be a miracle. It's almost impossible. As I'm speaking to you this year, I've attempted to rob me in Oshodi more than 3 times. There have been cases where I had to fight myself off. Now, what is the issue of this insecurity? It is influx of thugs in Oshodi. Why are we looking away from it? I've been listening to the speakers and nobody wants to talk about it. Why? The thugs are from the age of 8 years. Go to Oshodi. Go there now. It's not something that we are not going to talk about. They are from the age of 8 years to as old as 50 years old. And they are there, some of them no job, just there, walking around, moving around, walking around, moving around. When they see any opportunity, they take advantage of people. And we are looking. You cannot have influx of young and old people under the bridge, in the street, just moving around with no job, not doing anything. Nobody knows their name. They are looking so fierce, and there will not be insecurity. There will be insecurity. Now, for the corporate thugs, which I know that the local government for now cannot solve their problem perfectly, but at least there should be a sense of control on what they are supposed to do and how they are supposed to do it. You cannot be collecting money from taxi drivers and bus drivers on the road and causing confusion to people, fighting, beating them, running after them. Come on. This question has been put to the deputy governor of this state before, and he said they are their cousins, that they cannot send them away. So I understand the local government cannot do anything about that. But at least there should be control on what they are to do and what not to do for now. But by the time they do anyhow, they do whatever they like, they can do anything, they cause disruption before you know there's a fight there, there's a fight here. During the local government election, there were influx of fights in Oshodi. But apart from the corporate thugs, there are thugs that they are not even related to local government, state government, and they are there doing whatever they like. There are children sitting under the bridge of Oshodi, they line up there doing nothing. The government has to take responsibility of those children. They will eat. And how will they eat? Taking advantage of people. So the government need to go into action and know who those boys are, what they are doing there, what is their mission. Then let there be a proper census. So it should be the blueprint that Lagos will look into. You are selling your market here. Who are you? What's your name? Where do you live? There should be proper census of people. People should not just be moving around doing nothing. That's the first issue. Then the police. The police issue is a general issue in Lagos and in Nigeria, yes. But we can help ourselves. There should be regular visits to police stations in the community by community leaders, civil societies, landlord association, everybody. Go and visit them. How is the policing in our community? What is going on? Hope you are not molesting our children. Hope you are not harassing our children. Regular visits to put them on their toes. Because sometimes they could just be hungry, they will come out, the police themselves, causing insecurity for the people, stopping them, asking for necessary money, arresting people indiscriminately. Those are insecurity, those are security issues. So we cannot fold our hands. We need to go to them, ask them questions. When the police see that the community are putting them on their toes, checking up on them, at least it will reduce some of these their issues on what they do. And finally, people. The local governments can do they can have their plan, they can have their LNCDC and all that, but the people, house by house, community by community, street by street, should have a security plan for themselves. That is how we can solve this problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Comrade Haywire. From the chat room, and Comrade Raymond, if I can get your name very correct, he said, the community is the fourth tier of the government, from the federal government to the local government. I have a recommendation that there should be a community security summit. Mr. Salako, are you taking note of that? There should be a community security summit. He now went further, he said, to meet quarterly to diagnose and assess SWOT. I think you understand what SWOT means. To diagnose and assess the SWOT analysis of the people, property, safety, to become a true center of excellency that is safe, developed, and secured. And before my moderator invites the next speaker, our arrowhead for today's discussion is centered on the influence of commercial activities within our community, precisely Oshodi, Mafoluku, Shogunle, and Ladipo. Now, if you notice that many of the Okada riders in Oshodi, they don't have plate numbers. They only have Mopo A, Akipelu A7, AK, Makinde, Supo, Shogunle. They don't have a plate number on their motorcycles. And the local government tickets them on daily basis. We are still coming to the, I'm just preparing Mr. Salako for on grant very well, and others contributors to be able to engage this. That is our center head, because we notice that sometimes your ticketers run after these Okada people, they cause chaos within the community. By the time you know, nowhere to trace them, nowhere to trace anybody. And people has lost. I'm a typical example of that. I have a case I'm still treating at Akitol Police Station about a ticketer pursuing an Okada, and the Okada injured my grandma. She lost her left hand. The case is still at Akitol up to now. So a lot of other things like that. So we're still coming to that discussion. So Mr. Salako, I hope you are fully ready to explain to us what is government doing in regulating all these transporters. At the same time, people will suggest better way for the government to do this. Why you take it up to the chairman? I'm coming, so I can see your hand. So let's give, I will hand over back to the Comrade Afsat to allow the next speaker to come on board. Then we now go to general discussion.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade Galadima. I believe our first speaker is back, Comrade Ibikunle Faleyemu. I hope I'm correct. Pardon me.
Very well. I'm back.
Sir.
Thank you.
Yes, I know you had network issues, so probably just give us a brief one.
Yes, it appears better now. And thank you for having me. I must appreciate the contribution of my co-discussant. He has dealt with the issue very well. Okay, he has said some of the things I plan to say, and so I will not be repeating him. But what I have planned, the way I have structured is ensuring creating a safer community for all can be tackled in two prongs. One is the individual ourselves, that is the community dweller ourselves, which we belong. All of us here discussing, most of us here discussing belong, and also the government. Of course, it has been said, and as enshrined in our constitution, that the primary duty of any legitimate government is to secure the life and property of the people. So that, I mean, that is just the justification for their existence. And any government who cannot guarantee this have no business in being government. That said, we also have our own role to play. And most of the points that my co-discussor has mentioned focus mainly on that. So I will not be repeating him. So I will want to reiterate or highlight some of the things, the fallout of our government, where they have failed, and the simple things they can begin to do that will, without so much ado, without so much stress, turn around the security challenge that we have in our various communities, particularly in Oshodi, which is our focus of discussion at this point. Take, for instance, I once have a privilege of having a deputy governor of the state living in the same community where I lived in the time past. We all rally around supporting and routing for this woman, hoping, I mean, for our party, hoping that if she eventually gets there, she will remember our community. But we were very wrong. What did she do? As soon as their government was sworn in less than 6 months, she relocated to Lekki, already developed place. And then she was there for 4 solid years. Somebody who was a community person, a teacher, a retired teacher for that matter. That should give you an idea of whom I'm talking about. You know, and no road, no nothing. So one of the things I want to suggest to our government is that they should be compelled to reside in the community they lead. For instance, our new mayor in Oshodi, we should ensure that he lives in our community. If he faces the same challenges, the security challenges we face, he will do everything to tackle it, just as it has been discussed and emphasized in different fora, that if you want to solve our health challenge today, stop all these, stop every government officials from traveling overseas, from engaging in what they call medical tourism abroad. And I guarantee you that in less than 6 months, you will begin to have governments, officials from other countries visiting Nigeria to face their health challenge. Because it is said that when a problem, when your task, when your issue becomes a task, all your sense will be activated. So because they are handling it with levity because it is their problem. So when it is our problem, the way they will tackle it, the way they will be so bothered, they will be so concerned. We have seen in the time past where relations of people in government will be kidnapped. I remember Okojo-Iweala's mother back then during Jonathan's regime. They were able to smoke the kidnapper out in a matter of 3 days. But if it had been somebody without an identity, let them go to places. That's the way. So one of the solutions I'm proposing towards ensuring and guaranteeing a safer community for all is to ensure that our leaders in various communities, particularly in Oshodi, reside within us. Let the problem be our problem. And that being said, you see, we can't wish these people away because that is the teeming youths that are forcing the security challenge that we have in our country today, in Oshodi in particular. I mean, I have one of the contributors have said that young children, age 8, people that should be in school, you find them as during school hours roaming the streets. We think, before now we used to think that the Amaje race in the north is the problem of the north, but we know better now. We know better now. The children we fail to train today, that we think they are other people's children, they will become security challenge to your own children that you train overseas tomorrow. That is even not tomorrow anymore. The tomorrow we said in the past is now here with us. Today we talk about Boko Haram. Today we talk about unknown gunmen or gun unknown men. See everywhere. So but the way, for instance, somebody said, how do you eat an elephant? An elephant is so big that it can, pose a threat. But the easiest thing to do is to begin to cut it one bit at a time. Like small air, you chop up. That has reduced the size of the problem that you are expected to contend with. Now, this youth, there must be a policy to guarantee that every school child must be in school. Today, I know that in Lagos and in the Southwest, there's a policy for free education. I don't know how real this is, but we should have a way of enforcing it. I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yes, can hear you. Correct. Can hear you.
Oh, good. You see, we must enforce it. Those children that are supposed to be in school have no business roaming the street. We must compel them to be in school. The government, this nation, have enough wealth to go around. So we are not saying give people money, but make sure that they are registered in school, pay for their tuition, buy their books, buy them uniform. That is okay. And I'm telling you that, in America today, we wake up and say, God bless America, because America has invested in them, and they can see that if not for America, I won't be where I am today. I mean, I've listened to one of our leaders in the group I belong to. He ran out of Nigeria, for his life, and he could have just remained like that, get stranded in the US, if not for the opportunity provided by that environment. He was able to go to further his education because he had access to educational loan. Can't we have something like that here? But that is that. And then probably compel them to work for the government when they are done. But they made that proposal in recent time. And I listened to youth declining that they will never succumb to it because they cannot trust the government. Now, making educational compulsory for the age children, at least let people have GSS 3, basic minimum. That's you will have spent 10 years in school. And I guarantee that at least with that, it's only left for a child who wants to be a miscreant. With that level, that minimum level of education, a child that will turn better will definitely turn better. Leaving them to chances. And secondly, I want to suggest that government should create recreational centers. It is said generally that, how is it put now? All work and no play make Jack a dull boy. I mean, we cannot all, you have a gigantic building that have a gym section, that have all of this. We cannot all be like you, and we are not all wanting to be like you, but we just want to have a little taste of what is required, what makes like what living. Have a recreational centers. It was in most of our stars today were picked from Ajegunle. Talk about JJ Okocha, talk about Ikechorobo, the goalkeeper. Virtually, at least close to 70% of them were trained on the street. Ajegunle in particular. You can imagine if Ajegunle had been created, if it were to be in a better society, they would have turned that place to a national monument. You understand? Build a structure around it so that a number of people that are snatching sports today, creating a security breach for all of us. They could have, it's an easiest way. football is a big time, some of them could have been, Tyson was a street boy, Mike Tyson. If he had been in Nigeria, he would have been killed by stray bullets, or probably with lynching when we catch him. He was a road, I'm telling you, most of the boys that we are, so let's create a recreational centers around Oshodi Hopo, so that all these guys can have something else that would divert their attention from crime. So for football, for people who want to dance, so that people can ease off the tension. And aside from that, we cannot leave our security in the hands of government 100%. In addition to, we as individuals have a role to play. So in addition to what my co-discussant has said, I want to dare say that we should take our security personal. Okay, most of us are being influenced by the kind of people that lead us. The moment people get to a position of leadership, they have been liberated, and so they create a cocoon. They separate themselves from others. So for us too, the moment you are able to buy a generator, you are able to, maintain. Get yourself an apartment, 3-bedroom. Just you become an island to yourself. No, a tree never makes forest. So we must be a community. We should be able to familiarize ourselves with the community that we live in. Get to have a good rapport with your neighbor, and take your security personal. And of course, there's something I've done that have worked for me. There's no environment I get to that I don't blend. I've lived in Ireland before. I've lived in, where you can call highbrow area, and presently I'm living in a more or less a swallow. The road is bad and all of that. That is an issue for another day. But what I've done is make myself to feel among. There's no I can't remember the last time I drove my car. I take Okada the same way every other person will do. And while on Okada, I interact with the people. What are your issues? What do you think? We become friends instantly. Some of them come around to do for, So let that be, don't always feel threatened by these guys. They are humans like you. So get to know what their issue is, and if there's any way as an individual you can help, why not? They will be the one to watch your back. So don't be an islander. If you do that, their problem does not concern you. God help you. The day you have issues, it will also be your own problem too. I don't know how much time I still have.
You're almost done. We are almost through the time, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, probably you should be rounding up.
Okay. Sir. Yeah, the last point I would like to mention is that it is very, very important that we identify ourselves with the community we live in. How do we do this? Be part of the meeting. There's hardly no community in Lagos today, even outside of Lagos, that does not have what we call CDA. Attend their meetings. Some of us, as I highlighting, make valuable contributions. And when I issue, I get to know the telephone number of your DPO. We know we have our police are very, they are poorly trained. Most of them are miscreants anyway. They're just a professional talk, licensed talk. So we need to also invest heavily in their training and retraining of our police in order to have a better society. I would like to raise my case at this point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. That was a wonderful one from you. Okay, I think someone asked a question. He said, are participants free to make meaningful contributions to make our community better, safer, and competitive? And is a platform for APC. Well, I would like to say that it's for everyone, as long as you're a resident of Oshodi. And Oshodi maturely specifically pushes for discussions about discussions about governance and providing solutions to our immediate long-term challenges. So we are all free to come together, whether you are APC or whichever we belong to, as long as we are coming for the interest of our dear Oshodi. I think I believe that answers I think someone asked the question. So okay, in order not to waste most of the time, we'll be getting contributions from our participants. So I believe Mr. Salako is still in the house.
He will have to leave because
okay,
the section we are going in. Okay. Mr. Salako, can you hear your video? Mr. Salako, are you still there? Okay. Now, Comrade Kunigbabe, you can unmute yourself and make a contribution, sir. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say one or two things on what the speaker has said and the other contributors. Now, somebody asked a question that he expects the local government to have a security committee. And I will tell you, based on my experience and based on the fact that I've been with some people that are in government, we have a security committee, though Salako is going to talk more about that, at the local government level, whereby we have all the Obas, the Elewus, the Adele of Oshodi, and many of them that they always come together, including Air Force, the commandant of Air Force. I think the chairman should do is to make sure that he gives them more power and now listen to them on how we can have a safer community. We have that committee is there. Then on what my speaker has just said, on the first issue of the leaders reside with us in the community, is a very lofty idea, but I will tell you that it has to do with individual as well. Those of us that will reside in the community, because you find out that I'm so sure that many political office holders in Oshodi, they will like to live within the community. But the constituents themselves, that is people that are living in that community, would they allow them to do what is expected of them? Let's assume the present mayor of Oshodi, that is Honorable Oyede, decided to live in Oshodi, and maybe his family has a very good apartment in his family house at Oshodi Road there, and decided to be staying there. I will tell you that many of the constituents will not allow him to rest. 24 hours in a day, they will be going to his house. Instead of them to tell him to do what is necessary for the benefit of the whole community, they will be going there as an individual. So we need a self-orientation within ourselves as people that live in the community, for the office holders to be staying within our community. Then on the issue of every child should be at school, well, it's a very lofty idea, which I think the chairman can do that. I think there was a time in Oshodi like that you can't find any children on the road by 9 o'clock in the morning, because we have the inspectorate division of the education secretary of the local government and the district themselves, the one we have at Express Roads over there. They collaborate together and they move around so that they make sure that by 9 o'clock you won't see any children again in Oshodi. I think the chairman can bring out that ideas, liaise with the education secretary and the district. They can have a monitoring team, which can, with that, we won't be able to have any of these children on the road. Then again, on the issue of recreational center is a very lofty idea. I remember those of us that grew up in Oshodi, Ikeja Grammar Schools in those days is a place that we always go in the evening towards where we have
OLA.
OLA those days. Thank you. OLA. Where we have OLA those places, and it's a place that we that we grew up in Oshodi within that period, that's a place where we know ourselves. There's nobody that will come to Oshodi within that time that is of age group that you won't see them in the evening. We come there together, we interact with ourselves, we know each other's problem, we know people that are coming into the environment. But it's rather unfortunate that a government comes in and decided that all those regional centers will now, be, turned to another things like that. But at the same time, a recreational center can be valuable where we still have a very good environment, where environment is safe. We have this Jalingo over there, or this maybe the Jalingo play feedback we have over there. If the government should invest money on Jalisco, if government should invest money on it now and make it, very okay for everybody. But how many people will allow their children to go there? Whereby, because you see all these miscreants, I can't allow my child to say, I want to go and play football at Jalingo. Say, what do you want to go and do there? Because the people that we have there are not people that are expected to be there. That place has been hijacked by people that are not supposed to be there. So these are some of those things that the present mayor can do. It's possible. That place falls within the jurisdictions. We can know how we can make the environment to be safe for everybody. But first of all, everybody must have a confidence that your child is going out and your child is safe. So with that, everybody can bring out their children to do all these things. But having said all these things together, the same thing still boils down in conclusion of what myself and the other speaker said, still boils down has to be an individual security for ourselves first. We have to have that orientation that everything shouldn't be for government alone. The orientation of the security has to start with your own house. It has to start from your house. It has to start from your own door by locking your door and to make sure that you know everybody in your environment. Then again, another thing again is like the other speaker made mention that we have many inflows of people from another place in our local government. Well, fine, that's something like you had said, we have freedom of movement. But if we can have a political will that everybody that is staying in a particular street must be able to be identified by landlord that accommodate them. And if anything should happen, that landlord will be held responsible. You see that with that, we'll be able to take that problem off. Then again, on the issue of somebody made the issue of this wole going to a place, and how many of the political officers that has the will? The environmental people, they are doing their job, but by the time they go there and they want to implement the law, maybe the landlord knows a particular political office holder in that place, or himself or herself is a politician. The next thing you do is just like pick up his call and call maybe the chairman or somebody that is a prominent person in society that come and tell your children or people who they are here to come and disturb you. And that person immediately will just give another, leave that place. So most of those, the environmental people, they're handicapped because they are not being able to do their job. There are many people, there are certain occasions that people have called me that I should come and assist them. I will ask them, what did you do? They will say that they get to where they have their soak away is filled up and they don't accept, look, I can't do anything about that because you must make sure that your what is filled up, you must do the necessary things. But how many of us has that political will? So most of what we make our environment to be safe is the policy is already there. It just has to take the political will for people that are in government to implement it and make sure that the whole environment is safe for everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Comrade, and thank you, Comrade Konibagbe, for that beautiful, incisive and observation and contribution. So, Comrade Osibelo, can you unmute yourself?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Comrade Osibelo. I just want to comment on the last speaker as regards the fact that the mayor of Oshodi cannot actually reside, or you are looking towards the fact that he can reside in Oshodi. Then that baffles me to say that what happens if the governor of a state decide to go to, of Lagos State decide to be staying in Port Harcourt because Lagos is not conducive, because the normal people will be coming in to be asking questions, too much of inflow of people. Asking questions. So reason why the Lagos State governor, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, can hear you.
Okay. Would that be the reason why the Lagos State governor will move to Port Harcourt, because he doesn't want to have people flowing in to ask questions? I don't think we should get to that. We should actually
Your network.
go beyond this, to stay in family house. A well-structured building where you have the security men, and then if you want to see the local government chairman, you have somebody to meet first. You take your ticket, and then if your appointment booked already, then you can see him. And if the appointment is not booked, then you so be it. This is just simple thing that can happen to any good society. How do we talk about a chairman of Oshodi living in Lekki? What are we preaching? What are we talking about? This shouldn't be our attitude, and we should actually move away from this mindset seriously. And that's all I have to say on that. Thank you.
Okay, and I think you have made your position known. You have made your position known, and the appropriate representative of the government on this platform, Comrade Salako, I think we will push forward to the chairman. Now, Comrade Salako, I want to be seeing your face. Okay, are you still there? Comrade Salako?
I'm here.
Hello?
I'm here.
Okay,
I can
fine.
hear you. I'm here.
Okay, now, let's start from here. At Adeyemi Junction, I normally see two young guys controlling traffic there. They don't put on uniform, they don't put on anything. Are they local government workers?
Is that your question?
Hello? Yes, number one, yes. Are they local government workers?
Okay. Can we do it this way?
Okay.
Galadima, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, are you there? All right. So can I have
Yes,
all the
I'm
questions?
here, Okay. One is that Adeyemi Junction, those two guys that are staying there, controlling traffic, are they local government workers? That is number one.
Okay.
Two, and most of the Okadas in Oshodi, they don't have plate numbers. They are not registered. They are not registered. Now, what we see at their back is AK, Makinde, Mopo, Akinpelu, Supo, Shogunle. You understand? And if anything happens, there's no how to trace them. Only anything to back column number. Even at the point you want to collect numbers, which number do you want to hold? Is it the number of AK Makinde you want to hold? We are talking about safety here. Now, two again, those guys ticketing them, they will tell you local government tickets, this ticket, like that. Now, they are not on uniform. Are they working for the local government, or they are NERT, or maybe NERT boys? Now, if they are working for government, like local government, I do hear them say, oh, take that ticket for local government. If they are working for local government, now, I think government should be able to regulate. Okay.
When we say regulate, how do you mean regulate?
No, I'm coming. Let me put down. Let's answer the first two questions first. So from there, we'll pick it up. No, from there, we'll pick it up. No,
all right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you once more to the speakers. It is an honor to listen to your wealth of advice and from your wealth of experience. It is an honor. So I must give you kudos. And I say more power to your elbow. Now, on the first question that you asked about Adeyemi, that you usually notice two guys. Those two guys, what they do basically is to control traffic. There is also another man at Arowojobe Junction.
That one is always on uniform. That one is
An
always on
elderly
uniform.
man. Let me.
Yes,
he's an elderly man.
Okay.
The man also is not usually on uniform also. But if you observe, today is Saturday. Sunday, okay. If you observe that from last week Monday, do we see the man at Arowojobe Junction and one person at that Adeyemi Junction on crested uniform, fully branded with Oshodi Soro local governments. So that shows that those two people, one you can start from tomorrow, Monday, you can observe. Okay. So those two people, they are the ones that have been sanctioned by the local government to be controlling the traffic. So does that answer your question?
Okay, I will check. I will check from tomorrow. I will check.
So from tomorrow, please confirm. Please confirm. Now,
okay.
On the second question of plate number of Okada, we have levels of government.
Sure.
We also have parastatals that have been saddled with different responsibilities.
Sure.
We have VIO, we have FIRS, we have this, we have this, we have this. However, on the issue of the plate number of Okada, it is not only the plate number. When I was talking the other time, I told you that the chairman is a proactive man. He doesn't wait until something happens before he will not start reacting. Okay. I can tell you categorically that both the influx of these our people and how they cluster, if you understand what I mean, because they usually cluster in a particular place, either to pass the night or whatever, and about their bikes being properly, identified and, all those stuff, it is in the pipeline. You understand? What has not yet been passed, I cannot see. But what I can tell you is that to check all those excesses for proper identification, for proper, monitoring of these people, it is in the pipeline. Comrade Konibagbe made mention of something, that there is a certain committee. We have the CDA, we have the CDC, we have the security committee, and so on and so forth. All these committees are going to be empowered. They are the ones that are comatose. They are going to be resuscitated. You understand? You can take a leave from what the chairman is currently doing on road construction. You can take a leave from what he's doing from road construction, that you can be rest assured that it's going to translate to every sector of Oshodi community. Talk about health, talk about education, talk about security, talk about...
Mr. Salako, sorry for cutting short, please.
Okay.
I would not like us to... We still have many on our table. We are picking them one by one every month. Now, let us center our discussion. Let's center our discussion. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this to your notice, I'm very sure we have noticed what I just raised now. The reason I'm bringing this up is this. These riders also cause crisis within the riders, the ticketers, at the point of discharging their duties, also cause crisis in our community by running after a rider that has not collected local government ticket in the morning. At the point of running after that riders, they will eat an innocent citizen. That person can lose a leg, can lose any part of their body, and nobody to trace. Most especially these people acting on behalf of the local government and almost on cheap drugs. ship drugs. I have interrogated one. He was telling me nobody can hold him not to do what he's doing. But if it is the local government that has given them that right to carry such responsibility, then there's need for the local government to regulate that aspect. Now, I'm very sure that during the security summit, like what Konigbago said, that have been raised.
Your line is breaking, please. Your line is breaking.
Chief, okay, and the security summit that was raised by one of the participants. I believe the DPO of Akipelu Police Station, the DPO of Shogunle, the DPO of Makinde are always in attendance of such meetings. Now, there's need for them to also tell their officers that owns Okada within the local government to register their Okada with Lagos State plate number or any plate number they want to register. And again, if the local government is also having meetings with the transporters within its jurisdiction, for example, the NLT branch in Oshodi or in Shogunle or in Mafoluku or Akomorons, I don't know how they call their names, having meeting with them, there's a way they can regulate them that you will know, okay, this particular rider is in Oshodi. Now, the local government is collecting, the local government is collecting money from these riders, but yet they can regulate them by providing a reflective jacket, number it, so that when an Okada is coming, we know, okay, this is an Okada in Oshodi. Now, the reason why we cannot 100% regulate them because Oshodi is not an estate. So we want a space whereby the local government should regulate the riders. At the same time, caution the ticketers to discharge their responsibility according to law. According to law. So I so much believe that you understand what I'm trying to say. And anybody in the house that want to contribute to that.
Okay, can I round it up because you said you still have other questions.
Yes,
so that we can now take them. Now on the issue of I must say that I am surprised that we don't have representative of the police on this very meeting. I would have thought that maybe you would have approached the Shogunle, Akepelu, and Makinde, at least, if not their DPOs, maybe their PRO or something, that they should also be in this meeting because they are at the center of our security issues. And then, so this is just an advice that in the next meeting, you understand, you can pay them a visit and then you notify them and then also share the link with them so that they can also be part of this meeting. Are you with me?
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Yes, I'm with you.
All right, okay. Now, on the issue of regulating the Okada riders and let me just speak it from the ticketers. There are so many people out there that are not the staff of the local government, but they claim that they work for the local government. There are so many people out there that do their thing and they just associate themselves with the local government. That is why I am saying that certain appointments have not yet been made. But the moment all the appointments are made, the contacts of everybody will be communicated to the general public. So that if you notice anything, maybe at a particular junction, you notice someone that is behaving in an unethical manner, and he or she claims to be a staff of the local government, right there, you can call whoever it is that is in charge, for further action. You understand? So, for now, it is still in the pipeline. The appointments are still, trickling in, and then, but not until when we have everything that we now push it out that, okay, these are these are the political appointees and their portfolios, then, we cannot do the proper follow-up. But I put it to you that some of these people are not local government staff. They only claim to be local government staff. So about that. Now, on the issue of the regulation of the Okada riders, I still want to maintain what I've said, that it is still in the pipeline. Something is being done, and not until when it materializes. You understand? It is still in the pipeline. So please, I want to seek your indulgence and also seek the indulgence of the House. You understand? I can see some, suggestions coming in. Kudos. Even the local government chairman is not an island to himself. He welcomes suggestions and advice. So, the best way that we think that we can pass, if we have suggestions, we can, get it across so that we will relate. This is a collective responsibility. It is not, our community is a collective one, not an individual. So on the issue of the regulating of the Okadas, you have made a valid suggestion that, maybe they should be numbered, with a question sheet. That is taking. That would be, communicated. But I want to put it to you that it is already in the pipeline. Something is being done as we speak on it. So,
okay. Okay, Mr. Salako, thank you for your time. We do appreciate. And you can check from the chat room.
Yes,
a lot of suggestions has been dropped to the chat room. People have given a very good suggestion. So if you can relate with the chairman, I think, and our primary objective is that having a working society, irrespective whom you are, your religious, your political affiliations, your beliefs, let's have a working society. That is our own focus. And I think in our next edition, by next month, it's going to be a physical roundtable discussion, and we are proposing to use one of the hall in the local government, and we have written a letter to that effect to seek for approval of that venue, and it's going to be a physical engagement. We want people that have ideas, that have suggestions, real suggestions, to come forward and table this before the government. So by the time the government is celebrating its 100 days in office, we want to see if truly these suggestions are being put in table, because this government is our government. Whether you like it or not, we're going to stay with the government for the next 4 years. And there's need for all of us to come together as a team, making sure this government succeed. I know Mr. Kalako is happy with that.
I'm with you.
And we are very happy that the new mayor is a listening person for now. If only he can sustain that for now, the listening person. And we're also saying this. No, I said if he can sustain that, if he can sustain it, it's going to be of his own advantage.
Can I come in? Can I comment on that? Can I comment on that?
Okay. You have the floor.
All right. Your personal traits. We all have these individual traits, and regardless of the post that we, attain or occupy, those traits will still remain with us. Otumba Kehinde is this kind of person. It is just unfortunate that during the electionary period, there was this numerous, negative, whatever. But if you meet with him one-on-one, you know the kind of person that he is. And I must say that to show his readiness and his willingness to listen to suggestions, constructive suggestions, and also criticism, which unfortunately some people have abused now. You can also attest to the fact that he's been, visible on some of the platforms in Oshodi, interacting with people one-on-one. You understand? Listening to them, and then people have also been coming to the platform to actually give kudos that, they pointed out that certain road needs attention, and the chairman has commenced work and this and this and this. So by nature, naturally, Otumba Kehinde is a listening person. He's an humble person that doesn't believe that he's an island. And Comrade Konibabi suggested something that that our representatives should be made to live within us. I must tell you emphatically that Otunba Kehinde Oloyede lives within us, but where precisely he lives, I can't tell you. But he lives within us. He lives under this Oshodi sort of local government. Despite the fact that he has properties in Highland and whatever, but he lives within us. That is to show you that he's the kind of person that wants to feel the pulse. He already feels the pulse because he was born, brought up. He started his business here. He made everything that he needs to make. He made everything here. So he's not the kind of person that will now emerge and then will now relocate outside. So he stays with us. He is currently living with us, and he will continue to do that. Thank you so much.
Okay. Before you take your leave, Mr. Salako, now they are this distraction coming up from the ruling party in Oshodi, and as a community frontier, as a community voice, we are not going to allow such distraction to affect our collective development. How sure are you? How sure are you that this will not distract Honorable Almaroof Kehinde Oloyede in discharging his promises to his people? How sure? Okay, Comrade Gonibagbe. Okay, before Mr. Salako, please, Comrade Gonibagbe can come on, sir.
Let me just. I want to try to unmute myself.
No,
okay.
You are on.
Did you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Honorable Oloyede Almaroof has been doing very wonderfully things in Oshodi, and myself, I've known him for about 35 years now. About 35 years, I've known him as a person. But the only thing I will just say that the only thing that will not make the present government to lose their focus on what they are doing is to just face the agenda, what people are giving to them. You see, governance these days is quite different from, it's like, I want to work for people. It's not unlike come and eat again. It's I want to work for people. It was in those days that we say, I want to come and eat. But now I want to come and work for people. And people has given you a mandate for 4 years. What will make you to excel in anything you want to do is to face that thing that you want to do. The mayor of Oshodi, as for me as a person, there are certain issues that is not supposed to talk about. You just be focused on what you are doing. There are certain things that you don't even need to react to. You just be focused. There are certain things that we just look at, oh, these people that have asked me to come and work, let me continue with my work. But by the time you are looking at those things and you are reacting to it, it might deter you from what you want to do. It's just my advice. And I think Toby can relate that, my advice to the chairman, that there are certain things that he must not react to. He must just face the task that have been given to him. So Toby, go ahead.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
I hope you still remember my question.
That's.
I said there are a lot of distraction going on in Oshodi now from the ruling class political party. Now, how sure are you? Because you are one of the spokesmen of the new mayor in town. And one thing that we are going to be frank and we are not going to be happy about is that seeing what is doing presently or what is going on presently in another government, and it cannot sustain such speed at which it's working now due to distraction from its political parties. We will not allow that. How sure are you that the new mayor will not be distracted?
All right, thank you so much. And thank you for using the word distraction. There are, like I said, I still want to buttress the fact that, it is due to the fact that he's a listening person. He always wants to hear, everybody. That's the reason why some people have now see it as an avenue to want to, just you will notice that some people are just out for blood, regardless of what you do, regardless of what you say. Some people will just be out there just to this pulling down syndrome. You understand? Honorable Kehinde Oloyede is undisturbed, is unperturbed. He has his eyes fixed on the projects given to him by the good people of Oshodi. And for you to know that he's not disturbed at all. Just this morning, the rehabilitation of I think Banire Streets kickoff just this morning. The rate at which this man is going, people are just amazed. That's how is he doing it? But he's a man. Each time we are talking, when we are talking, we will tell you that, look, Toby, I have made promise to the people. We can't afford to disappoint them. We can't afford to let them down. So that is what is actually pushing him. That is the spirit that he has. So to the people that believe that they can run him down, to the people that believe that they can distract him, they are just wasting their time, because he's undisturbed, he's unperturbed, he's not going to be distracted. He has his eyes fixed on the job given to him by the good people of Oshodi, and that is the transformation of Oshodi. He is very, very particular about transforming Oshodi. Oshodi has these location benefits. We are at the center of everything. Some people will say that we are at the center of Nigeria. There is nowhere in this country that you are going to make mention of Oshodi that people will not know. But we have not harnessed that benefits due to poor infrastructure, and which is what Honorable Kehinde Oloyede is out to correct. So I can give you my word that he's not going to be distracted, he's not going to be perturbed, he's not going to be distracted at all. He has his eyes fixed on the job given to him. Unfortunately, these distractions, they are coming from the ruling party, from APC, that are supposed to be in one house. The opposition are even giving kudos to him for the way he's going about it, for what he's doing. But unfortunately, some people that are unpatriotic within the party, they are just out to rubbish the image of the party, and by extension, the administration of Otunba Kehinde Oloyede and Boruf. But you have my word, he's not disturbed. He's not disturbed at all. He has his eyes fixed on what the good people of Oshodi are going to benefit from, which is the transformation of our environment in terms of infrastructure-wise. And people may be saying that he's just, for now, his major aim is still on the road, but he's going to touch all the sectors. He's going to touch all the sectors. Talk about education, talk about health. In fact, he's going to touch everything. So what we can just continue to do for him is, one, to continue to pray for him, that God should continue to give him the wisdom and the will to continue this way. And two, that the people that want to clog the wheel of this administration, that God should put them to shame. But at the end of the day, Oshodi is going to be better for it.
Okay, thank you, Comrade Salako. I think the APC as a party as a whole should go and put their house in order, because by the time we started picking on political parties now, it's not going to be easy for anybody. And the reason why we are still much interested in Honorable Al-Maruf Kehinde Oloyede administration is because we are seeing him as a messiah to our community. For now, if only he can sustain that, for now.
God willing.
Sure. Okay. During the course of the week, hopefully by Thursday, we're going to have a press briefing with your chief press. I just discussed with him on Friday, but he's yet to get back to me. Why we're going to ask other questions, because we cannot engage all questions in this section. We have less than 2 minutes to end this program, while I hand over to Comrade Afsat. And before then, And by November, third Sunday in November as well, we're going to have a physical engagement. We have many people in Oshodi that have great ideas. We have people that have become WhatsApp warriors that we cannot even trace their origin in Oshodi. We want everybody to come on board and prove themselves that truly they really love this community. Truly, they have the love of this community in their heart. Let us come eyeball to eyeball. Let us discuss our community. It's our community. Nobody will run for anybody in this community because this is our community. So now by November, we're going to have a physical discussion, roundtable discussion, whereby hopefully the new mayor may be on seat or his representative to take observation of or ideas done for him. So before then, we want us to continue in our patriotism, in our love for the community. All what Mr. Marco is doing now is the love for the community. All what Honorable can do is doing now is the love for his community, because the community is bigger than an individual. It's a collective effort to see our community growing and succeeding. Comrade Afsat, over to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a quick one. I just wanted to appreciate, I think since the media representative is here, so I appreciate Honorable Kendo, that's Kainde Almaroof, for at least, he's not up to 100 days in office, and we've been seeing a lot of transformations, and I really want to appreciate him. We'll keep praying for him to keep doing more in Oshodi Solo. In fact, they said, I think there's an adage or my tribe that says, the Friday that will be good, you would get to know from Thursday. So we really want to appreciate him. And then we're trying to round up, like Comrade Kaladima said, we'll be having our first physical meeting in November. So we hope, we look forward to seeing everyone. And then our YouTube page is Oshodi Macholi, so we can subscribe to it for more updates. We sincerely, on behalf of the entire team of Oshodi Macholi, we sincerely appreciate everyone. You took time out of your busy schedule for your involvement and your willingness to ensure that Oshodi is great again. I also want to specially appreciate Comrade Soloki. I know he was unavoidably absent, but still, we didn't. He still sent you to represent the chairman, and we truly appreciate the chairman and his entire team for their proactiveness, and every member of Oshodi. Your contributions really inspired us, and we hope for the best. So we wish everyone a lovely, lovely evening, and thanks for joining us for today's section. So bye to everyone.
Thank you. Over and out. Yeah,
Comrade Konibagbe, we especially thank you for your support. For the support yesterday, we are very, very grateful. People like you make this program a success today. And also, Comrade Ibikunle, I really appreciate you as well. And we believe, looking forward to see you in our physical discussion by next month. And Comrade AY, I really appreciate you. And Comrade Raymond from Dosumu Street, really appreciate you. And we look forward to see more of you.